Okay, in my last video where I talked about how I finish my little pillows with the pleated trim, I had a lot of questions about how I get that fabric on the back, how actually we close the back of one of these little pillows. So I needed to do the finishing work on the next chock full pillow, so I thought I would go ahead and demonstrate. So I'm not going to turn it over, no peeking, but I am going to just show you how I do it. Now I get my upholstery thread, and I have a sharp needle, and I did make a knot in the end of it, and I'm going to anchor my needle and thread through the pillow. And I always kind of do because we're going to be covering this anyway, I go through it one more time, and then I do a ladder stitch, which means my needle's going to run parallel to the long opening, and I'm going to go from side to side like this. All right, so I'm going to come over here, and as I do this, I'm going to pull just a little bit. We don't want to distort the fabric too much, but we do want to close that seam up. This is a finish that a method that a lot of finishers use. The ladies at Just Another Button Company, my friends Cecile and Rachel, use this method a lot. They call this the Frankenstein close because it kind of does look like I'm sort of operating on Frankenstein here. It's not the prettiest ladder stitch, and you can see I'm going from side to side, and I'm pulling it each time I pull the thread through, and just to kind of help hold my pillow closed. And I'm working my way to the other end. I'm almost there. There's still a little bit of an opening. I don't necessarily want to create puckers at this end or that end. I got all the way to the end now. My mom always said I should have been a surgeon, but there was that whole thing of 20 gazillion years of school and not really liking the sight of blood too much. So this is as close to surgery as I get. All right, so I'm going to do a little knot at this end because I have ladder stitched my way, and that's ladder, L-A-D-D-E-R. If you have any questions about it, you can certainly Google it because there are a ton of videos out there. And you can see I tied a couple knots, and then I like to run my needle through the fabric, kind of away from the knot. Snip it close to the edge there, and I'm all closed. Oop, I'm gonna cut a little bit on this end. So now I wanna make that pretty because that's not too pretty, okay? I guess I wouldn't get good points for being a pretty surgeon. So the double-sided fusible tape that I use is called Heat and Bond Light. You can get this. I buy mine at a quilt shop. You can get it at a lot of different craft shops. I will tell you, if you have some of this in your stash and it's been there a couple years, I would maybe go get yourself some new Heat and Bond. It does have, there's a chemical on it and adhesion on the back. And I have had it go bad. Quite frankly, I've had some experiences with that. So make sure you just get yourself just a fresh little batch. It's not very expensive. So what I did is I chose to have this fabric as my back, my little decorative piece. So I cut a small piece of Heat and Bond. So it's sticky here, and then there's this piece of paper. So I'm going to put it sticky side down, take my iron, I'm just going to hold on, and I like to count to 5. I don't know why. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the one thing you'll notice is that I didn't move my iron around. I just kept it like that. So then what I want to do now is you can see I've got the paper in the middle, and I want to then cut this to be a little square because I'll put it on point. And I like to use I've got my cutter here, my ruler, and I have one of my rotary blades, and this actually has a pinked blade because it makes it kind of decorative. So I'm just going to, because we've got excess fabric around here, I'm going to trim it down into the paper. And this is a 3-inch wide ruler, so I'm actually going to use my ruler as the guide. I don't know, I know just from experience, approximately a 3-inch wide square will work. And I trim it like that, and you can see it's got kind of that pretty pinked edge. Now, it's maybe a little tad too big. Like I have said before in other videos, I'd rather cut it down and then have to redo it. So I think I ended up actually trimming about another 1/4 inch off. And how big should it be? Well, it should be big enough to cover the scar, and that's kind of why I did it this way as opposed to this way. And it should be able to stay on the back. I just wanted mine to be a tad smaller. So I already prepared this one. It's about a 1/4 inch less than this one. So now what you're gonna do, everybody asked, how do you get it onto here? Do you glue it? What do you do? Well, this is double-sided fusible interfacing. So that I'm gonna peel this paper backing off, and now you'll notice this is kind of slick. So then I'm gonna put that slick side down into place. Back to my trusty iron. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000. And there you go. That's it.